Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Brief. My name is Janis, your host, and today I wanted to talk about making an impact with your story. Just to let everybody know, I am also recording live on the Wisdom Audio app, and welcome to my listeners who are currently on. And I know that my cheeks are bright red. Woo! Two amazing workouts this morning, two 45-minute workouts. And the first one was a power walk. And then about an hour and a half later, I did my kickboxing. I was going to take a second, power walk, but the kickboxing bag was calling me. So I changed the plan. So today again is about making an impact with your story. Whether it's in your personal or business life, if you have a story to share that you believe wholeheartedly will make an impact, that is so important. How do you even go about doing that, right? Well, for instance, if you want to start an online business, my suggestion would be to, obviously YouTube is a great resource, but, write down for yourself, journal this out, or even a notebook. It doesn't have to be anything fancy or, even done on one of your digital devices, and write down or I like bullet points because they're short snippets, why it is you want to start your business. And for the purposes of this discussion, of course, I will use podcasts as my example. Why do you want to start this podcast? Write everything down. Why do you want to start it? What is your passion? Who do you think that will impact? And how would you even go about doing that? Now, also make a list of your fears. Sounds kind of counterintuitive, but this is really important. Make a list of your fears, or maybe the behind the story scenes of things that you are telling yourself on why you can't do that. Then I want you to make a list, and I want you to write I am statements. I am creative. I am healthy. Whatever your I am statements are, write them down. Then really look at what you've gathered together, and how would that help you how would that make you feel, for instance, if you were able to start your podcast? And, let's say it's a podcast about business coaching. Now you may ask yourself, I have 20 plus years in the business sector, an efficient organizer. These are all the things that you want to write down, right? And look at the timeline of when you would want to start it. If you're like me and it's been a hard road, I am very open and honest. I am an open book. I made a lot of mistakes, but what I learned from those mistakes is this: I can still make an impact in certain ways that affects other people's lives. And if I am doing it in such a way that feels good to me, then of course I want to share that with the world. We are always recommending different things to our friends and family, whether it's a new restaurant, whatever that may be. So whomever you follow, whomever you want to, and I don't want to say be like, but follow people perhaps in your industry, follow them, make lists I know I always talk about lists, make a list of what you like about what they do, and perhaps what you maybe don't like. Keep it simplified as possible. Do it in such a way, first and foremost, that feels good to you. And that is what is authentic and real. And I want to say good morning again to all of all of my listeners on the morning brief. This is Janis, and we are chatting about making an impact with your story. So speaking of podcasts, yes, I love podcasts, I know. I have an amazing podcast coming up tomorrow afternoon with Dr. Perrick. That is going to be an amazing conversation, going from a medical doctor to actually coaching doctors. I'm very fascinated by his story. That's always awesome. He's making an impact with his story. And then, of course, on Saturday, August 13th at 11 a.m., Stories That Inspire Us. I am welcoming back to the podcast Emily Hart. She is so inspiring, and her story will just kind of blow you away. And gosh, I feel so blessed and grateful. I always say that, but it's true. And I say that with a lot of love, a lot of heart, a lot of soul. And of course, sometime this evening, probably 7:30 area, of course, the Two Sisters podcast, and tomorrow morning, the Two Sisters Fantabulous Friday podcast. And we are the Two Sisters podcast. I think we are about 3 or 4 episodes away from our 500th episode, which is pretty cool. And in September, we will have a 500th episode party. Not sure when. We were hoping to do it in August, but both of us are traveling. So that, we realized that, let's be realistic here. We need to put that off briefly. So welcome again, everyone. Today's subject on the morning brief, making an impact with your story. And speaking of the Stories That Inspire Us podcast / the author series, oh my gosh, I just received another book from Kelly Kerr, Kaur, Letters to Singapore. And she will be on the podcast. I don't have my calendar up in front of me, but she will be on, I believe, in November or December. And, check out, and I will be making sure this week that I update my Instagram, Pinterest, and Facebook page to let you all know when these amazing authors will be on. And of course, my other guests that are going to be on the podcast. So I want to welcome you all here today. I see some very familiar names, and hey, if you'd like to come up on stage and chat, let's have that conversation. How are you making an impact with your story? But more importantly, why? Why do you want to make an impact with your story? I know someone wants to come up here, so let's have that conversation. Oh my gosh, so many amazing things happen. I just, want to shout it from the rooftop, of course. And, this morning, as I was doing my first workout, I tried to get out between 4:30, 4:45 in the morning to do my power walk. And it was a little later than I normally would, but, just being out in nature, the first 5 to 10 minutes that I'm walking around, I don't put on any music, or, of course I listen to different types of podcasts as well. And, just the sights, the sounds, walking by the family garden on the other side of the circle, which is, my gosh, an overabundance of vegetable goodness. And what occurred to me, I often think, I do my best thinking actually when I'm working out. And what occurred to me is, how can I add value today to someone's life? I always ask myself, how can I add value? And I think for me, it's sharing my story, sharing in an authentic way, being who I am without any reservation, but always making an impact and always adding value. And I hope I do that for my listeners here on the Wisdom app, and of those who watch the might watch the YouTube video or the Rumble video or the BitChute video. I do upload my podcast each and every day, and I did not upload yesterday's. It was very short and sweet. I had an emergency phone call that came through, so I had to cut that really short. So I do apologize. But, of course, I will upload this to my base platform, and working on so many amazing projects. And yesterday, I was a guest on someone's podcast, and that's always exciting. With Shannon Russell, second act success podcast. I'll have to double check that name again. And one thing that she asked me was, how the heck do you do 3 podcasts? And that was kind of off camera before we got on to record. She does her podcast just a little bit differently, and I love that. I love collaborating and connecting with other podcasters and other online business entrepreneurs. And for me, it's about the organization factor. And, I've often talked about Trello, and the different things that I use or apps to be highly organized. And, I love what I do. I don't know how other way to explain that other than I absolutely love what I do. And it was a great time to be interviewed instead of, always being the interviewer. That was kind of neat. And I want to thank her for that. And I'm just going to give it another moment here. Again, I see some familiar names. I want to thank you all so much. Please don't hesitate to come up on stage with me. And how are you making an impact with your story? How do you want to show up for yourself? There have been times when I have fallen flat on my face. And how, you might ask? Well, a little sidebar story. Something that I've always wanted to do is, and by the way, I am a published author. I've co-authored 16 books, and I had always wanted to run my own anthology. And let me tell you, I made a lot of mistakes, but I learned from them. And, I was so happy to do this project, which came to me when I was working out. And I just knew that I knew I had to follow what I was being directed to do. Sometimes I get these messages, and I may have shared this before with the Stories That Inspire Us podcast. I woke up one morning and the words that came to me were the author series. And you've heard me, I've chatted about it a little bit today. And you've heard me mention it in the past. And I was like, oh no. And when I got down to my office here on the first floor of the house, and where my kickboxing bag is too. And I thought, there's no way I'm starting a 4th podcast. That's just not going to happen. And then, of course, went out to do my power walk, came in to kick the crap out of my kickboxing bag, I show no mercy, by the way, with the bag. And then it came to me. Stories that inspire us / the author series. And these amazing authors have such amazing stories and are making an impact with their story, which is the subject of today's little chat with a few sidebars. But isn't that amazing? I feel so excited that, that I am providing a platform for people to share their stories, and also for authors to come on and share their stories that are making an impact in the world. I've received about 4 or 5 books so far, a couple via email and PDF format. And I love to read, obviously. And to me, that is so exciting. So what is exciting for you? How are you going to make an impact with your story? I'm going to give it just another moment, and welcome to everyone who is here today. Somebody asked me the other day in my group coaching session why I don't typically record on Clubhouse, and I have a few times. I just find I like Wisdom a lot, the Wisdom app a lot better. I think it's very user friendly, and I'm able to speak with so many amazing people, I should say, from around the world. And I just think that that's amazing. I have through Clubhouse as well. In fact, a few people that I've met, and through this, it's called Ever Mindful Clubhouse. And the gal who started that, Lois, lives over in East Hampton, which is not far from me. And Cindy from Australia. Long story short, Cindy flew into the US, her first trip to the US, and was able to meet them all in person. That was just amazing. So think about that. People from all over the world meeting in Connecticut. That was the stories everyone were telling that day about how they found Ever Mindful. And, I just think that is so amazing. So if you are looking for a way to share your story in a way that you want to impact the world, but you're maybe afraid to get on camera, and I'm guilty of that, start out with audio social media. Show up consistently, show up every day, or maybe Monday through Friday, or whenever you have a few brief moments. I love popping on and listening to other people chat through the Wisdom app. There's so many amazing people on this app that have so much to share, and I am so grateful for that. What are you grateful for today? How will you make an impact with your story? My name is Janis, and I am the host of the Morning Brief, and I can't wait to see you all very soon. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day, and don't forget, your story is important. And if you just want to chat about it, send me a message through the back channel here, or contact me through my website, TrulyYourVA LLC. No, I'm sorry, TrulyYourVA with Janis.com. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day. Remember, your story matters. You can make an impact. Hey, Facebook, thank you so much for being here today. As always, this is an amazing conversation. I feel so blessed to do what I do on a daily basis. How are you going to make an impact with your story? Remember, you can contact me, leave me, a message through Facebook Messenger. You can go to my website. There's so many ways to get in contact. Remember, your story matters. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day.